You found it. It's the real news with your host, David Knight.
Wow, it's really amazing what's going on in Europe. It's not just what's happening to Tommy Robinson. We've also had the European Union surrogates have stepped in and taken over the government of Italy, thrown out the election. They didn't like the results, so they're going to do it over again. They know they're not going to get the person, just the IMF veteran that they appointed. We've seen this happen before. We saw it happen in Greece, other places where they throw out the elected representative of the people, and they put in a banker. It's been Goldman Sachs bankers in the past. Now it's an IMF veteran. They know it's not going to get ratified by the parties that are Eurosceptics. And now it appears that these parties are going to unify, and it's going to turn into a referendum on the euro and the European Union. So it's going to blow back on these people. People are tired of having this happen. We're going to talk about the globalist tyranny that is engulfing Europe. It's not only the arrest and the quick secret trial and 13-month imprisonment of Tommy Robinson, putting his life at risk, as has been documented. We have people in Germany, politicians in Germany, offering him political asylum because he is a political prisoner. But as we look at this, I can't help but go back to the referendum in Ireland last week, where they decided that life is not worth supporting. If you don't have the right to life, folks, you don't respect liberty either. This is the moral decay of the West. It's not just Europe, it's the United States as well. We see this happening with free speech all the time. So we're going to talk about what's going on with free speech. And just look at what's going on with Julian Assange. Again, the Tommy Robinson thing, Julian Assange was clearly a harbinger of what's going on with Tommy Robinson. The UK no longer supports freedom of speech, if in fact they ever really did. They might have had a period of time where they did. This country was founded largely on the basis that the British government did not respect freedom of speech, did not respect freedom of religion. You had many of the people who came here to the United States as settlers, who came here as political refugees. People like William Penn, who was arrested because he wasn't allowed to hold meetings that were a religion that was different from the state religion. He met on after they locked the doors of the church, he held church services on the steps in front of the locked church building. Then they arrested him. And, that trial established not freedom of religion, because it didn't establish freedom of religion in the United Kingdom. It was established in the United States with the Revolution. But what it did in England and in the tradition of American law as well was to establish a writ of habeas corpus. Show us the crime, they said, as the jury released him. And it also showed jury nullification because it was actually the writ of habeas corpus was not because of William Penn. The crime that he had committed was very clear. It was in direct violation of a government law that said you will not talk about your religion. And so his crime was quite obvious. The jury didn't agree that that was something that he should go to jail for. So the judge threw the jurors in jail, the foreman and the assistant foreman, and that's when the writ of habeas corpus came in. Edward Bushnell was the foreman, and there's a book that was written about that, The Ordeal of Edwin Bushnell. That established habeas corpus, but prior to that, it established jury nullification of laws that are unjust. Will the British press stand up and fight against this injustice as these jurors in the past did? Evidently, the answer to that is a resounding no. They are taking a powder, just as they took a powder in support of Julian Assange, and they will continue their craven, cowardly supplication to the government, asking them for the permission to speak. How pathetic that is. We'll be right back. Stay with us. I'm David Knight.